Alright, so in this application we're going to do something a little different. We're going to be using the Facebook API, and we're going to create an application that integrates with Facebook. Alright, so basically this is a demo of the app, and you'll notice that I'm hosting it remotely on my techguywebsolutions.com domain, and this domain also has an SSL installed, and that prevents us from having any issues with security when creating the application on Facebook. So we will be doing that. Now what we can do here is, you can see we have a login button, so we can log in using Facebook. And once we log in, we have access to all this information. Basically, I'm going to show you how to get the logged in user's data. Okay, so you can see we have the name in the welcome message, we have the user's icon, I put this user data block here which has the user's ID, name, email, gender, locale. Down here is all the permissions that were granted. The first time the user ever logs into this application, they'll be asked if they want to allow these permissions, and they'll have to click OK in order to access the application. Then up here we have a status update box. If you type something in here, let's just say Facebook app test, and submit. Alright, you can see that it now shows up down here. This is a feed of all of our posts. Some of these are empty because they're just they're basically likes or just images or something like that. I made it so that only posts will actually display. If this was a production app, you'd want to handle these a little differently than just having them be blank, but it's fine for now. So if we go to Facebook now, you can see that on my profile I have this Facebook app test. Alright, and let me just delete that. I don't want to keep that there. Alright, and that's essentially what our application is going to do. Now we can log out as well. So we're going to be using Angular Seed again. We used this in a past project. It's basically a boilerplate for Angular. I really like the structure and how it's set up. And we're also going to be using an Angular module called ngFacebook. And this is the GitHub page. It's pretty easy to implement, but we'll go through the installation instructions here. Basically, we're going to create a Facebook controller, and we're going to integrate the SDK through that. Alright, so we'll get into all that in a bit. But what we need to do is, you need to log in and go to developers.facebook.com, and if you don't have any apps already created, you probably will need to register as a developer, which is just really a click of a button. And you can see here I have this ng app. This is the actual application that we were just looking at. Alright, so we have an app ID, an app secret, and we need that information for our application. Alright, so what I want to do now is just set up our application. Alright, so we can just say add new app, and this is going to be a website app. And as for the name, let's do ng social. Okay, is this a test version of another app? No. Category, let's say communication. Alright, so now the app is created, and it's giving us the code for the JavaScript SDK. Now the module itself that we're going to be using, ngFacebook, contains a lot of the configuration and integration and all that. What we want from here for now is just this, okay, this function here. Alright, so let's copy that, and I'm just going to put that in a text file. So I'm going to get Sublime Text 2, and let's see, for now I'm just going to paste that in. All right, now down here, tell us about your website. So I'm going to be hosting it at techguywebsolutions.com. So we should say HTTP. Actually, I want www. Pretty sure that you need to include HTTP. Okay, that looks good. Test your Facebook integration. Okay, we're going to skip that. Next steps. Alright, so now let's go to My Apps and NG Social. Okay, so this is all the configurations and just all kinds of stuff. Most of it we don't need to deal with. It gives us our app ID, which is important. Let's see, analytics, which obviously we don't have any. Settings. Okay, so for this, I'm going to put in the app domains right here. Actually, let me see what I put for the other one. Alright, so site URL, we had that. App domains, did I have anything there? Yeah, just Tech Guy Web Solutions. Alright, so I guess we'll put the same thing here without this. Whoop. I'll just type it in. Alright, save changes, and I think that's all we need to do on this end. Alright, so now what we want to do is set up the project folder, and you can put it wherever you'd like. I'm going to put mine in my C drive. Let's see, I'm going to create a folder called projects. And then inside of that folder, I'm going to create another one, and I'm going to call this one NG Social. And then inside of there, we want our Angular seed structure. So if we go to the GitHub page, you could pull this from the repository if you want. I'm just going to, I'm just going to download the zip. Alright, and we'll just take these. Okay, just grab this. Alright, so now we have our app folder with all the default files and folders. We have the view 1 and view 2. We've already went through this in a past project. Now to install NG Facebook, let's see, we can close this now. We have a few different things we can do. We can use npm, we can use a zip file, we can use bower. Okay, I want to use bower. So let's copy that command, and I'm going to git bash into my ng social folder. Alright, and just paste this in. Actually, before we do that, we need to install bower. So let's say npm install g bower. Alright, so now let's paste that command in. Let's see, may bower anonymously report usage statistics. I'm just going to say no for this. Alright, so now in our app folder we now have bower components, and we have Angular, Angular route, boilerplate, and ng Facebook. Now what I want to do is upload our app to the server. So I have FileZilla open. Alright, you can use whatever FTP client you want, or if you have a built-in FTP client with your editor, or whatever the case may be. Alright, so let's see. Let me reload this. So we have an ng app folder, which is the demo I showed you. I'm going to create a new folder. Can I do that here? Alright, so let's create a new directory, and I'm going to call this ng social. Alright, and then inside ng social, on this side I want to get our project folder, which is in C drive projects ng social. Now you want to upload everything that's in the app folder. Alright, so now that that's uploaded, let's take a look at the front end. So let's change this web solutions to ng social. Alright, so this is what we should expect. We worked with Angular Seed in the past, and what it does is it sets this very, very simple website up, and we have two views, view 1 and view 2, and view 1 is the default, so if you just go to the root, it's going to show, it's going to redirect to view 1. If we click view 2, it's going to change the partial, which is this text here and this text here. So that's what we expect. Now what we need to do is we're going to create a simple bootstrap template, integrate it with this, and then we can start to integrate the Facebook API.